crowd held its breath. One gladiator had thrown another to the ground. The defeated man lay there breathing heavily. The victor, raising his sword, paused, waiting. The crowd roared wildly, but then fell silent in tense anticipation, deciding his fate. The spectators' thumbs determined it, whether he would live or die. The gladiator, sword at the ready, awaited the signal to either finish off or spare his fallen opponent. Gladiators were fighters who battled in the arenas of ancient Rome to entertain the public. They could be slaves, prisoners of war, criminals, or volunteers who chose to dedicate their lives to the arena. Despite their lowly status, some free citizens voluntarily became gladiators, signing contracts for wealth or glory. Female gladiators, known as gladiatresses, also entered the arena, captivating audiences, especially in the early periods. Crowds of Romans admired their courage and skill, while emperors used the games to bolster their popularity. Each gladiator belonged to a specific class of fighters with unique weaponry and tactics. For instance, heavily armed Murmillo gladiators faced retiarii, who fought with nets and tridents. These contests were not only physical clashes but carefully staged spectacles, with each pair designed for maximum drama. Other types of gladiators included Samnites with their massive shields and swords, Thracians who relied on speed and maneuverability with their small shields and curved swords, and Hoplomachii, whose spears and tactics resembled those of Greek hoplites. Moreover, gladiators paid close attention to their physical conditioning and diet. Their meals included barley porridge and beans, which provided endurance and strength. Despite this humble diet, they maintained excellent physical condition, enabling them to endure the grueling fights in the arena. Gladiators were both despised and adored. Their lives were brutal, but successful fighters could gain wealth, fame, and even freedom. For example, the gladiator Spartacus began his career as an ordinary fighter and became a symbol of resistance against Rome. Some victorious gladiators, like celebrated champions of the Colosseum, received riches, villas, and even high social status. However, not every gladiator left the arena alive, particularly in the early periods when death was an integral part of the spectacle. The earliest mentions of gladiatorial combat are tied to sacrificial rituals. In 308 BCE in Campania, southern Italy, ritual battles were held to honour victory over the Samnites. These ceremonies were considered offerings to gods or the spirits of deceased ancestors. In Rome, the tradition began in 264 BCE, when brothers Marcus and Decimus Brutus organised the first gladiatorial games at the Forum Boarium in memory of their late father, fulfilling his will. These funeral games became known as bustuarii, derived from the Latin word bustum, meaning funeral pyre. During this period, a gladiator's death was mandatory, as the combat was part of a religious rite. These duels were popular but infrequent, held only for special occasions, such as grand funerals. One such event took place in 216 BCE, where 22 pairs of gladiators fought over 3 days in honour of Marcus Aemilius Lepidus. By the 3rd–2nd centuries BCE, gladiatorial games began to lose their ritualistic nature, shifting their focus to public entertainment. Professional fighters were expensive, and game organisers sought to preserve them for future performances. However, the crowd could demand executions, and the final decision rested with the sponsor of the games or the emperor himself. For instance, criminals and prisoners of war were often pitted against experienced fighters or wild animals to showcase Rome's might. In 206 BCE, Scipio Africanus held games in Spain to honour his deceased relatives, but even then, the emphasis shifted towards showcasing military prowess. During this period, female gladiators or gladiatresses began to appear in the arena. Their rare performances fascinated the audience and were considered a true novelty. Historians mention that gladiatresses often fought each other or wild animals, demonstrating agility and strength. One notable example of such battles occurred under Emperor Domitian, when female gladiators fought at special nighttime games illuminated by torches. Their participation highlighted the variety and spectacle of Roman games, as well as the fact that arena fame knew no gender boundaries. In Rome, gladiator training schools, ludi, began to emerge, where fighters were taught not only combat but also survival. Gladiators became professional performers, and their shows were meticulously choreographed. For example, the renowned Ludus Magnus School, located near the Colosseum, trained fighters not only to battle but also to captivate the audience, making their performances even more dramatic. One of the most iconic symbols of gladiatorial combat is the thumb gesture policy. Spectators would signal with a thumb up or down to express their opinion on the defeated fighter's fate. In reality, this gesture was interpreted in various ways. For example, a thumb up might signify execution by the sword, pierce him, while a horizontal hand movement indicated mercy. However, the final decision often rested with the wealthy patricians sponsoring the games or the emperor himself, who could either fulfill the crowd's will or show mercy at his discretion. It is known that Emperor Commodus, who participated in the arena as a gladiator himself, often decided fighters' fates personally, mimicking the crowd's gestures. His involvement in the games was staged but reinforced his connection with the Roman public and underscored the importance of spectacles in political life. In 107 CE, Emperor Trajan organised a grand spectacle in which thousands of fighters perished over 123 days. Yet even then, death was an exception rather than the rule, as professional gladiators were highly valued investments. The history of gladiatorial combat is not just a tale of brutality, but a reflection of social and cultural shifts in ancient Rome. These spectacles became an integral part of Roman life, leaving an indelible mark on world culture. Subscribe to our channel to not miss captivating stories. See you in the next video.